I'm doing it. So I think you'll be getting a little note saying,
Right.
and I'm sorry about that Zoom link. I sent it with all conscientiousness and I have no idea why that first it just didn't work. I apologize. Anyway, I'm glad we're all here now. And I don't want to rush us, but I know that you all have limited time. So I would love to start today's session with a little bit of a discussion about whether you were able to incorporate last Ready Training One's activities into any of your. Oh, good. Let me hear, Chris.
Yeah, just because I'm going quickly,
Yeah.
I actually was able to do quite a bit.
Oh, great. I
Um,
want to hear.
yeah. I mean, for a lot of reasons. One, I have done a lot of mindfulness myself in my classrooms already. So I was able to do the mindfulness listening and some breathing and that sort of thing. Um, and so students really like that. I did start the mindful song activity, and I also kind of expanded it a little bit, and I did a cross-curricular thing for Black History Month, and I actually played some of the signal songs.
Okay.
And I actually kind of, it was kind of like
Love
a
that.
double listening thing, because like I played them, followed the drinking gourd and told them nothing, and then said, does it
Oh,
make sense? No, it doesn't
I,
make sense.
by the way, yeah, no.
And then, well, if how does it shock you if I said the person that wrote this song didn't want you to understand?
Yeah.
Well, what's up with that? And I prompted them into it, and then we listened again. And, well, what do you think this is? And then I show them one there's a bunch of these on YouTube, right? And then there's one where there's actually graphics of the Big Dipper. It's like, oh, wait a minute, was the drinking gourd the Big Dipper? And I let them kind of unfold that. Hey, there's something about directions for north and that sort of thing. So that's not exactly the
Mm.
personal thing,
No,
but
it's perfect though. I love that. That
it's certainly guided listening, and
Oh
it's
my
certainly
gosh, but what a
important
perfect
things.
way to it's what a perfect and authentic way to share a meaningful song and tying it into Black History Month, whether
Yeah,
it's meaningful to you or meaningful culturally, historically, is such a one. I never even thought about that, and that's such a beautiful way of approaching a meaningful song. Thank you so
yeah.
much.
I'm actually I've got actually. You know what? I could probably share. Maybe are you there? Did I just lose you?
No, I'm here. We're all
Okay.
here.
All right. No, I was thinking I could probably share. A couple of years ago, I got something from Discovery Theater in Washington, D.C., and they actually were doing a play about the Discovery songs. There's my bell. So maybe I can share it with the group just so everyone can know. Because there's like I'm kind of digging into this a little bit too. I think apparently I found Frederick Douglass actually wrote about these signal songs.
Ah,
And it's like I've never really read Frederick Douglass's writing. I mean, I've read, we all know a few of his poems, but to actually sit down and kind of sift through his
yeah.
writing and go, where was he talking about these things?
Mhm.
I think "Wade Through the Water" is one that we sort of all kind of know is, oh yeah, they were, these were instructions, but I think there's a lot more there yet.
Mhm.
So anyway, I'll share that with everyone. There's my bell. I'm going to have to go. So thank you for letting me speak,
Yeah.
and let me get
Thank
caught up
you.
on
Yeah,
everything.
that's the incredible.
Okay, bye everybody.
Thank you so much, Chris.
Thank you. Great. That's huge.
That's an amazing, like that's a brand new layer of sharing a meaningful song. I mean, from um, a teacher's perspective, like not just personal meaning, but a way to deeply examine a really important topic that you're exploring in your curriculum. That's a beautiful way of doing that. So that's amazing. Does anybody else want to share experience, whether they tried sharing a meaningful song or the mindful listening to music or the neurographic art?
I did both. Well, my music classes, I did the share personal song,
Okay,
and
great.
my religion classes, we did the mindfulness through music. Right.
Beautiful.
The personal song is a project that I know we both do, where the students kind of talk about their songs, right? They share a link and they share a personal connection with it, and
Wow.
it's something that, and sometimes students like we do it all on an online platform, so students can see, and there's sometimes a lot of similarity between the students, and it's interesting for them, and they actually talk about it like, oh, I noticed you put that song. Oh, I like really enjoy that song too, or one reason or another, they end up finding the same song, or they like songs for different reasons. And it's always interesting to see and for them to share their personal connections.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's building that courage for them to
Yeah.
speak about it in class in front of others, which is
Hmm.
something we're constantly like working on and working towards as well.
Hmm.
So I think it went great in my music classes, and then for the mindfulness, I did it with my religion class a few times. It's at the end of the day, fourth period.
Hmm. Nice.
So as a way to kind of like bring the students into the space, just listen to music, and either we went through some of the exercises you provided, but just for them to kind of like take a moment for themselves, away from their devices, away from, whatever they might be carrying from throughout the day, and
Yeah.
take a moment to ground themselves always, I think helped. And they always felt, after that, I always noticed like a little bit of a change, like, okay, now I'm here, I'm present, and they're more willing to speak and to work with each other in the space. So I think it went really well.
Um, I actually love that so much because I've had that experience too, having finished a mindfulness activity, and that energy just feels softer and um, yeah, it feels really, really different. So being able to notice that as the teacher as well is fantastic.
Yeah.
And I do know what you're talking about, that sharing a meaningful song. And I'm not sure if we touched on this last session or not, but it's such a challenging thing because one of the things that you're dealing with is like sharing, art that's meaningful to you, and that opens you up to judgment from your peers, like, oh my gosh, how can you like that song? Or what, because it's often, I mean, my kids who are in their 20s now, some of their most meaningful songs are like Disney songs. So, like, it takes a lot to sort of be honest and share that and why it's meaningful and what it does to you and how, what are those connections. So, it's an exercise in, being open-minded, with your peers and compassionate and, respectful, as well as, finding something new about somebody else. Mary Lou, do you have any?
We did a similar thing. So I had the kids do a personal one. I said, okay, this is the one that can have swear words if it needs to, if it's really
Oh,
like
wow.
where you're
That's
at.
big.
But
Yeah.
choose one to share with the class as a gift. And so
Yeah.
that one's got to be clean because I'd like to feed my children more than canned foods for, a couple
Yeah.
while. So,
Yeah.
so they put them there, and I share a couple. I usually use like a Tori Kelly one, but there was one I came across by Donny Hathaway that I remember from 9/11 that I first heard with
Oh,
Alicia Keys saying it's like someday we'll all be free. And we did have a student who passed away due to mental health. And so I went to his viewing on Sunday. He was a former student. And so the kids, some of them knew him, some of them didn't really, but just because they'd heard it, and there's obviously kids who are dealing with, oh, sorry, I'm trying to mute this, but mental health issues. So it's we had Maestro Fresh West come in to talk to them. He talked of like he talked about himself. He didn't perform, but we went through the lyrics of Stick to Your Vision about like I see a lot of highs and lows, peaks, valleys, and the bitter and the sweet, the victory and defeat. So we spent the day talking about resilience and hope like it wasn't it'll be music related, but we needed to kind of unpack the things that stress them out, the things they do for stress relievers, and then like how that's going to go into their projects on like um, music and resilience.
yeah. Music and resilience, fantastic. Along the lines of that, just um, there's a great, I introduced the VLS to you earlier, the virtual learning studio that's on our website under the Learn tab. There's uh, a really nice course, Music and Resilience, right in there. And it's sort of for the caregiver, like you guys, teachers, healthcare workers. But I think that you might be able to draw some material from that as well. It's a great course. It's Amy Bearings, I believe. She's one of the music therapists that we work with, that we partner with, and she's amazing. She's absolutely brilliant. So I think the course, you could pull something from that, I'm sure. You might even want to show some of it to your students. hmm but that's also a beautiful thing to meet, tragedy with, some kind of concrete resilience, and using art as, that idea that it does ground us and it anchors us, and it, reminds us of that common humanity and self-compassion.
Just helped me find a band piece. It's called Stay by Rando Standridge, and he's a music teacher in the States. But as of like 2012, I've seen videos of him doing music that I used to do with my concert bands. But he started writing music. His Unbroken project has a lot to do with mental health, and one of the stays, the one I want to do with my grade 11s and 12s, and like the main comment was that like was it the world is a better place because you are in it.
Yes.
And like there's a
Lovely.
lot of comments throughout the piece. So as they're playing that, it's, the reminder that they might struggle. Like there's a lot of words of affirmation throughout the piece as they're playing it too. So that's what
Nice.
we're hoping to do in our spring concert.
Lovely. Fantastic. Hey Chad, do you want to share that if you tried
Oh,
any of the
yeah.
activities?
So, yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know what happened with the link, but yeah.
No,
So we
I
were
don't
late.
either. I am so sorry.
Uh, my colleague here, Christine, is on her phone. So, but anyway, yeah.
Welcome,
Talking about
Christine.
mindfulness, I usually what I'm doing is like before my students in music when they get in the classroom. So I prepared this like that calming music, and then the kids are, oh, it's so nice in here. So it's like it's a good approach to. It's a good strategy to to get the kids ready and make them calm, especially when they came from recess. And then when it gets into the room, oh, it's like a different environment that, it's a good, yeah, it's a good strategy to set the tone to start a very good class.
Oh my gosh, I love that. I love that the kids, how old were the kids that say, oh,
Yeah, I'm teaching kindergarten up to grade 6. So, yeah.
I love that so much though, because we think, oh, and it's a frenetic, high energy, high stimulation, environment. And we're going to talk about this
Mm.
sound environment, in greater detail. But for even our young students to notice, like, oh, this is a safe place. This is a place where the sound environment is
I don't
helping.
have a problem with the young ones, but with the grade 4, 5, 6, it's like a little bit challenging. So
Yes.
when they gets into the classroom, that like that, oh my God,
Oh,
this is so like very cozy ambience with
oh.
Mr. Chad, and like yeah.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Thanks for sharing that. Before I forget, I don't know if I told you. Did I tell you that Justin Gray, who was the producer of our Diverse Sounds collection, that he won a Grammy? Did I tell you that? He
Mm.
just won a Grammy.
I
That's
So
cool.
I have no idea.
yeah, he's
Oh
amazing.
yeah, Jel.
Yeah.
Thank
I
you.
want you to I want to introduce my two colleagues here, Christine and Miss Jacobeles. Yeah, they are on their
Oh,
phone right now.
I'm so glad that you're here. Thank you so much for joining us. Hi, Christine. Nice to meet
Yeah,
you.
so I think they're having their lunch.
Great. Yes. So yeah, just back to Justin Gray. He produced Diverse Sounds, and we feel, and then he won a Grammy a couple weeks ago. Um, on a piece of work that he created called Immersed. And it's an immersive experience. You're supposed to listen to it with like I saw the preview for it at the Luminato Festival in June, and the room was sort of stacked beautifully with surround sound speakers. But he also has a video that goes along with it, because he's working with, you know, he is a ethnomusicologist himself, as well as an incredibly brilliant musician. So he's found these musicians from all sorts of different cultures working with their really unique instruments and then showing them in the video that goes along with Immersed, which is the piece that he won the Grammy for. But we feel that his jumping off point was Diverse Sounds, which was what he produced and created for us, because it is this collection of, ethno-diverse music, created authentically. I think I touched on that from, we undertook the focus group, collected that information about the healing sounds from different cultures, and then worked with the master musicians at Humber College. Humber College, which is now under threat, and that has one of the best music programs in Canada. Anyway, that's an aside. I would love to share with you our PowerPoint today to take you through, just to keep us on time as well, because I'm gonna finish sharp at 12:45 because I've got another meet. But anything that I don't cover, I'll be sending you everything. I'll send you the PDF of this presentation as well as the activities that we cover.
Gail, sorry.
Jill. Yes, sorry, Chad.
We don't receive the recording of the first session that we have.
Okay, so I didn't record the first session, but did I send you out the PDF of the actual
Oh yeah, okay,
slideshow?
because I thought
That's
you
how I am.
recorded. Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah, I may have
Oh,
recorded the
no,
first
you're
session, so
right.
I'll
Wait a
look. Yeah.
minute.
I
You did,
thought,
we did. I
yeah.
apologize.
Okay.
Tanya, sorry, Mary Lou, did you get it?
Sorry, can you say that again? Sorry, just
No,
trying to figure
sorry. Or
out.
somebody spoke while I was speaking. We
Oh no, I
did.
tried.
Yeah, we did record it, and Tanya was just putting it on a YouTube link, I think. So I'm sorry, Chad. I did record it, and I can get it out to you. So thanks for reminding me on that.
Yeah.
And this one's being recorded too. Same thing. We'll send that out to you. So we're going to again just touch on that music care approach, but ever so lightly, because I think everything that you've been talking about shows a great understanding of the approach, which is the intentional use of music. Um, okay, and we're gonna talk about physical and virtual spaces to share information about what we're doing here, because your entire staff is not involved, but you do want to let them know that this project is going on in the school. And then we're going to talk about some other wellness strategies. So here, I talked about your toolkit, I sent you out a Word doc with the whole toolkit that talks about the program. And we're focusing on the session 2, which is plan. And if anybody has lost the link to their handbook, I'd happily send out more. But I always suggest that you print that one out because it's nice you're referring back to it. And what's really important is that you see this right here on the right. Those are sort of your tasks for this session, which is to do 1.5, which is what you find in driver 1 on the portal, which is to designate a physical and or virtual music care space to display the music care certified information. So to let the rest of the school know that you're actually undertaking this project, you might want to share resources like those mindfulness activities that we did last month. You might want to share our physical resources like our conversation cards that are all on the app. And our conversation cards are diverse sounds. So, hoping, again, encouraging that the rest of your staff are using those 25 Connect app licenses. And I would also love to to visit one of your schools. And maybe Andrea, I'll touch base with you and we can kind of discuss what makes sense. Because I'd also like to bring you the hard copies of all of our products, and especially the conversation cards are handy. And I know not a lot of schools have CD players, but some still do. And I can give you the CD collection of diverse sounds. It's just kind of nice to have, um, especially when you're creating which is something that happens in the next session, you're creating a designated space for students to experience music care and music wellness. We want to see evidence in your lesson plans that you're integrating these strategies in. And what that means, integrating it into your lesson plans, meaning you can verbatim just, I think I've given you an exemplar on the portal. You can use that verbatim. I don't mind at all. Or you can talk about how you actually integrated this activity into a larger lesson plan. And Chris gave us the most perfect example. You know, he's actually covering Black History Month in the curriculum, and then he tied in that activity into the actual teaching, into his curriculum teaching. So that was an absolute 100% perfect example that he gave us at the very beginning of the session. And so both of those, 1.5 and 1.2, are in driver 1 on the portal. Anybody has any portal challenges, don't forget to reach out to me. And then 2.1 is driver 2, and it's complete the sound assessment activity. Okay, what we have found is that this sound assessment activity is better for the older students. I have just created a new activity for younger students. So this would be Chad. If you have any of your grade 1 to 3s that you want to do this sound assessment, we call it being a sound detective. That's great. Otherwise, 2.1 on the portal is more appropriate for grades 4 to 12 because it's asking the students to self-report the sounds that they hear around them, and then to discern whether those sounds are sounds that feel good in their body and their mind or are upsetting. And it's really important because you know, we're learning a lot about how sounds impact the sound environment. We want to create as healthful environment as possible, but we're also really looking into conditions like decreased sound tolerance in our students. I don't know if I've talked to this group about, more and more of our kids are walking around with headphones on because of those kind of sensitivities to DST or decreased sound tolerance. But one thing that's coming out, this is super important, everyone. One thing that's coming out very solidly in research in neuroscience is when we are identifying decreased sound tolerance in our students, one thing that is not helping them is to let them wear headphones all day. Because one way to overcome decreased sound tolerance is exposure. Now, you want to be sensitive to that kind of exposure because some kids are just like, okay, I've had this kind of overstimulate. I need 15 minutes of quiet. But to walk through your whole school day with the headphones on, and I do remember having students who would do that, it's actually not helpful. It's not helpful. We're also looking at decreased sound tolerance is a big issue for teachers. So you teachers, I want you to really do the sound assessment for yourself as well. They're finding incidents of decreased sound tolerance in teachers that are akin to people who are actually musicians in rock bands because you're dealing with noise all day. Kind of fascinating. So the point of 2.1, that sound assessment activity, is to really kind of focus in on all of those sounds and the good sounds that we want to amplify, the negative sounds that we want to mitigate, and how do we do that, and talking about them. 3.1 is all about identifying a health and wellness goal as a school community. So that is where and that's kind of nicely tied. Oops, I beg your pardon. I didn't want that. No, that's tied in nicely to 1.5 because you want to begin to spread information about the Music Care Certified program to the larger audience, your teachers. But I don't know if you want to talk about this. Reserve some time in a staff meeting to talk about health and wellness goals in your school community, or bring it into some kind of digital conversation amongst the teachers. But we do want you to think about and identify a health and wellness goal as a school community. So not just your team, but bringing the team, opening this up to all of the teachers. And then 3.2 is to create a meaningful connection with a community partner. What we mean by that is taking a look at community musicians in your community, bringing them in. So one pathway is bringing community music into the school. And being in Toronto, you have such a rich community to draw from, but it's also the connection can go the other way too. So you could consider forming a connection with a long-term care home, with an adult day center. So creating an intergenerational experience, or high schools connecting with an elementary school, but just some kind of community connection where music is at the heart of it. So if it was an intergenerational connection with a long-term care home, it might be, getting band students to do a little practice session. If it's a junior intermediate experience, you might want a lovely intergenerational experience going on in Hamilton is that the students are actually learning an instrument alongside a senior. So learning a ukulele, they're not teaching, they're not being taught. They are actually, as a partnership, learning something new together. So those are all ideas of how to approach 3.2.
Gail, sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah, actually, you mentioned about that, and we already started on our end here at St. Barbara. We already
wonderful.
contacted a long-term care, which is just 10 minutes walk from our school, and we
Amazing.
are setting already some schedules for them on spring until June.
Amazing. That is incredible. I'm so happy to hear that. And you know what? It's going to make the day of all of those residents in the long-term care home.
Yeah.
I love that. It's a really, and what I also have been hearing over the last couple of years is there's massive resistance because of COVID and because of the ongoing kind of flu and respiratory outbreaks, both in schools and in long-term care homes, that there's a lot of resistance to bringing young people into the schools. And we want to try to break that down and get that intergenerational experience happening again. So, yay. I'm so glad, Chad. That's incredible. As to continue with the idea that we're trying to embed the most delicious and important parts of our music care training into this program, into the Music Care Certified for Schools, One of the things that we'll be talking about today is writing simple songs. And I hope to be able to bring something up for you. We've talked about the neurographic art. Did anybody try the neurographic art? Did I introduce that to you? Yes, I did last session, right? Yeah. Okay. We're going to talk. One of the things that I'm going to be including, probably not doing a live demonstration. Live demonstrations are really hard on Zoom. So I'm just going to be sending you out the activity digitally. But Andrea, that is why I would also love to come and visit you because one thing that I can do is demonstrate a lot of these wellness activities that I'm sending you out the information on how to do, just so that you can experience themselves and experiencing them live is
That would be
great.
great.
So we'll talk about dates. Over the course of the whole program, we're going to be giving you 7 music wellness activities, and here they are: brain dance, form drawing, walking meditation, humming for grounding, creative visualization, neurographic art, and somatic journey. And like I said, we're going to give you the written doc for it, but it's great to be able to experience these too.
Gail,
Um,
sorry to butt in again. So if ever we can accommodate you in our school, how long does it take? Like an hour or 45 minutes or
um, so for how long would I come for?
yeah, like the presentation that you're gonna be making
So,
in
I
school.
mean, ideally, I would love an opportunity to meet with all of the site team leads from the 3 schools, and I would probably come for an hour. So
Okay.
I would be meeting with you, the teachers, as opposed to meeting with your students. That is a possibility, but then that's a dawn conversation because it's an extra cost.
Yeah.
But I'm going to talk to Andrea more about that. We will brainstorm about that.
Right.
So
Thank
just
you.
yeah, to return back to, our music wellness, what that means, our definition, which is music wellness is interacting with music in a way that can contribute to holistic health and flourishing. So we talked about the emergent model, and we talked about the evidence. And I'm not sure, did I tell you that this has been published in Education Sciences? Did we touch on that last session? So the validation of our wellness model, that's the wellness model that our research team came up with these 4 stages that music is a catalyst, that you can actually do music wellness, you can get better at it by practicing, and it leads to overall wellness outcomes. This model was brought into a validation study with Bev Foster, who's our executive director, Dr. Lee Bartell from U of T, and Chelsea McKinnon from McMaster University. And the last paragraph says to me, why? I don't know if we talked about this last session or not, but it's real evidence that music wellness belongs in school. Because in our validation that we saw 85% across items representing all of those 4 dimensions that I showed you, that all of the participants reported daily engagement with music and positive emotional effects. So these findings support the model's validity and applicability, providing evidence-based foundation for integrating music wellness into curricula that promote lifelong health and flourishing. So that's just continues with our rationale, but there it is in education sciences. Touching on this again, this is not the most important feature because I can already tell just from our conversation that you are moving towards full integration, music wellness, music care in the school. So information is all about the education through these ready training sessions and also through our virtual learning studio that you're intentionally using music with specific outcomes, looking for specific, even the observations that Chad made, the kids walking into this classroom going, wow, I like the sound environment. It feels great. You're implementing, now that you know intentionally how to use music, you're implementing, it's becoming part of your curriculum, part of your programming, part of your lesson plans. And then more and more, we're seeing full integration of music wellness as a part of everyone's school day. And basically, that's all I want to share with you today. But I do want to talk a little bit about writing simple songs. So, um, and again, I'm going to give you the full explanation of how to write simple songs. But generally, what we talk about in our level one course is that a great structure to use is to take a song that all the kids know. It could be a song that you've taught them in class. It could be something that is a really, popular song like my favorite things from The Sound of Music, and playing the song and talking about the song, and then with your class deciding upon a theme that you would like to write a song about. It could be something emotional, like your favorite things, or it could be about, getting a task done in the school, like it's tidy up time, or it's, how I feel about getting ready for exams or tests or anything like that. And then changing the lyrics. So using the song, using the melody of the song, and changing the lyrics so that it's reflective of something, of you. I'd love to share a couple of things. Um, I worked with a school earlier this week who used the song Au clair de la lune and shared it with the class. And the process that they went through is they shared the piece of music with the kids and then just allowed the kids to create a picture and their sort of emotional response. The next stage was then to write a few words about the moon and what they think about the moon, and then to talk about how they would like to begin, using that in a song, whether they'd like to kind of focus on the lyrics, whether they can use 2 or 3 notes to create a simple melody, and then maybe you're importing somebody's lyrics in somebody else's melody. So that was a really kind of successful, and the kids loved it. But I would love to also share with you. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. I think I am. I hope I am. But out there in the world of Instagram is we've come across a music prof from Hudson College, which is in the States. And he has kind of taken writing a simple song to the next level. And for those of you, his name is Stephen Spencer. And for those of you who have kids, you're probably writing simple songs all the time. And I for sure did. You know, I was kind of reflecting on this with my own kids, and we talked about how, we had songs about, doing a task like getting the laundry done or keeping an open mind or just tons of stuff. This gentleman, and I'd love to show you an example, but I just want to make sure that there is, in order for me to share with you, I just have to make sure that you can hear it. Share, and then I think there is, share sound, and then optimize. Okay, so writing simple songs. Okay, here we go. I want to share this with you. Whoops. Sorry, I'm not sharing yet. This is so hard. There was the apple man. All right, guys. Zoom. Da-da-da. Share. And here we go. Let's see if this works for you.
There was an apple man, and his name was just Apple the Stooler. Apple the Stooler, the apple. He really didn't know just where was his apple mom. His apple mom was lost. Yeah, yeah. So he was hopping around. He was hopping around. He go to a fairy, a magical fairy. She was really a real one with wings and legs, getting the real ones have legs. Yeah, and she blowed some air on him. What? Why? So she could just give him wings, and he could just fly. Oh man, the apple man can fly. And he flied and flied and flied and flied, and the fairy flied too. And they go to his house, and guess what? His mom was inside.
Did you hear that? Could you hear that? So I don't know about you, but my kids, we had all those stories going on all the time. So it's almost like a challenge to all you brilliant musicians. I know that so many music teachers are brilliant musicians in their own right, but like what that guy did is just taking a song, just taking a little story from his toddler and then, putting some composition to it. And, one of the sort of desired goals or outcomes from this project doing music care is really amplifying student voice. And I don't know a better way of amplifying student voice by taking their stories or taking their creative work and then, putting it to music, creating something from it. So I loved that. What an amazing, amazing example. Brilliant person. But as I say, I know that there's so many brilliant musicians out there, music teachers. So I'll send you a little bit more about that musician, that music prof from Hudson College. But that kind of an idea, um, like just the creative energy that we've got out there within all of our students, really taking advantage of that. So that is writing simple songs. But I will give you a very, very, I'm going to send you out a very clear structure, like step by step of a way of just, you know, um, doing this activity with with your kids. But take this activity and run with it as far as you can. The second one we're going to be discussing very briefly is the somatic journey. So again, I suggest that you use a piece of music from our diverse sounds collection. It's just so ready-made. There's lots of fabulous music out there, calming music, music that's created specifically for a universal effect, which is calming. And if you've got, your favorite selections of music that's been produced to create a sense of calm, go for it. But our music, our diverse sounds, that it's ready made at 60 beats per minute. Like I said, it's a thin texture. There are only 2 or 3 sounds. It's just a really ready to use resource. So a somatic journey, I'm just going to do a really simple demonstration without music or anything right now, but I'm just going to ask you to close your eyes for a moment and take one hand and put it on your chest and the other hand and put it on your tummy. And just start taking some nice deep inhalations and exhalations. So this very simple practice of using your hands on your own body is able to signal the nervous system, the autonomic nervous system that controls our fight and flight response, but also controls our rest and relax nervous system. So the rest, recover, and digest is the parasympathetic nervous system. The fight and flight is our sympathetic nervous system. And just this supportive holding our hands, one hand on the chest, one hand on the belly, and tuning into that kind of comfort that we're receiving from our own body. That kind of sense of protection, that kind of sense of safety that we feel. So doing a simple breathing activity, using our music and using the hands in this position is very, very deep. It's a very deep and restorative practice. It becomes one of the tools in your toolbox for sort of de-escalating when you might be feeling overwhelmed, emotional. Just breathing into the hands. Soft. In this process, you also may be aware of another part of your body that you feel holding tension. It might be an injury, might be an area that you just find you're holding tension in. You can slide your hands to that area too. And just with the same awareness that your hands hold this protective and safe, sort of being able to provide you with that kind of safety, security, shifting to kind of a calm, protected feeling. Using your breath, using energy within your own hands to just ask the body to soften, relax, and enjoy that sense of calm. So just take a few more last final deep breaths with your hands, either comforting a part of the body that just needs attention. Our body asks for attention. We can bring our attention and focus to those areas, give it the attention it's asking for. Or you may choose just to stay in this position of safety, protection, with one hand on the belly and one hand on the heart. And when you feel ready, just open your eyes. Okay. So did you notice a nice relaxing feeling with this hand on chest, hand on belly? It's a really nice technique to teach your students whenever they're feeling threatened or vulnerable. Really nicest way to de-escalate, taking a few breaths, and then the experience is enhanced using the music. All right, I am going to wrap things up, but I am going to send you the link. Thanks, Chad. And if I haven't done that, please just remind me. I'm going to send you also the 2 activities that we talked about today, the somatic journey and writing simple songs. I'm also going to send you a PDF of this presentation, of the slideshow. Okay. And any questions about completing those activities in the plan stage that's both in your handbook and in the PowerPoint, please reach out to me.
Oh yeah, so Gil, sorry again. I have another question about the schedule of the meeting. So
Yeah.
the schedule of the meeting will start on September. Are we gonna include this coming March and April now, or?
Oh, yeah. No, we're going to meet in March, April, and May. So we have
Okay, so just 3. Because I didn't submit the schedule because I was thinking it is gonna start in September. Okay.
Yeah, no, this is all wrapped up in June. In June, you'll be certified.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah,
Got
yeah.
it.
It's not a full calendar year. It's just we're doing it in your 2026, January to June.
All
So
right.
you'll be
Perfect.
all wrapped up. You can as well start thinking, the first step to start thinking about your initiative is talking about the wellness goal with your school. Like, is there anything that you really feel could, like I said, be associated with your
Yeah, I can do that through in lunch and learn like 30
yeah,
minutes. Yeah.
that's the kind of vehicle I'm thinking of too. Or if you guys have a school improvement plan, that's another great vehicle. The school improvement plan often includes wellness goals.
Yes, it is. Yes, there. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So if there are no other questions, and certainly I am so willing to jump on. I have to emphasize this. If you want to jump on a call with me at any time, I'm here. I'm your facilitator. So if you want to talk about anything, any one of those strategies, or have like a demonstration from me or any feedback, I'm always here. Just drop me a line.
Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry.
Right. Thank you.
Thank
All right. Have a
you.
Yes,
great
thank you,
weekend,
Jill.
everybody.
You
You
take care.
too,
Enjoy.
Jill.
And Andrea, I'm going to reach out to you later.
Yeah, that
Okay.
sounds
All
great.
right. Bye-bye,
Thank
Right.
everyone.
Nice meeting you
Bye, Jill.
guys. Bye.
See you.
Bye.